Greetings and salutations.
How's everybody doing today? Welcome to our second episode of Prime, Impact, and our very first official review.
Very
episode.
nice.
All right. How about that? Cheers.
You have to drink after a cheers.
That's right.
It's important.
Yeah. It's bad luck if you don't.
Right.
Well, let's dive in. Let's tell everybody what we're reading for this week and what we tried.
Yeah. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Sure, I can go first.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So, as you guys know, I've never read manga.
Never.
Before. This is my very first. So I'm a huge horror fan.
Sure.
So I wanted something that was not necessarily brand new, but fairly new-ish.
Yeah.
That I could kind of jump in early on. And so I went with Chainsaw Man because...
What an interesting character name.
Yeah. Well, and what caught me was the cover because he has a chainsaw coming out of his face. Like, the chainsaws on the arms are cool, but he has a chainsaw coming out of the center of his face.
Do you think the teeth on the chainsaw are covered under his dental plan?
Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird book, but I'll get into that in a minute. What did you read?
So like we talked about in the first episode, I've read manga before. Like I've read Naruto, which was okay. I read like 6 or 7 volumes and it didn't sink into me.
Okay.
Which is a lot, but still.
Sure.
I read some Naruto. I read a few other things, but I've never read any like horror-centric manga as well. So I decided to go ahead and try out Deathnote.
Oh, okay.
Which I was kind of like, Deathnote, I know it's really popular. I don't really have a desire to read it, other than the fact that new Ryuk is cool as hell looking, just in general. And I heard a lot of bad things about the Netflix movie that was made, the live-action Deathnote movie, and I was like, do I care that much? But in the sake of this show, I wanted to come in with an open mind.
Okay.
So I picked up Deathnote, and wow.
Yeah?
Wow.
Yeah?
Wow. Wowie wow.
Well, okay, then let's. You're so wowed by it. Let's go. Let's dive into it.
Right now?
Yeah.
Right now. All right. Well, so Deathnote is the main character is this guy on the cover right here, Light.
Light.
Light. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like this super top student in Japan. Like always gets top grades, max grades, what have you. And one day he sees this notebook, just almost like a comp notebook, composition notebook, but all black cover, fall from the sky and land in his schoolyard. No one else seems to notice it, or it seems to really care.
Random. Okay.
Right, but he notices it. So he walks over and he picks it up, and across it says Deathnote. And inside the Deathnote are rules that says when you write a person's name in the Deathnote, they die.
Wow. Well, that's... Wow. Okay.
Right. If you can determine how they die, you have 40 seconds to determine how they die after you write their name.
And if you don't...
They die of a heart attack.
So the heart attack is the
default.
The default death. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And the other stipulation is you have to have the person's face in mind when you write the note. This way, if you say I write John Smith, there's like how many John Smiths in America?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So I have to be thinking of a particular John Smith when I write his name in the notebook.
Oh, otherwise, okay, gotcha.
Right. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything.
So it's not like there's a default that it goes.
No.
Oh,
if you don't have their
okay,
face in mind,
okay.
it doesn't do anything. So, like, he picks it up. He goes, "Oh, this is a joke. This is like one of those chain letters, those chain emails and letters we always get where it's like, if you don't respond, 5 people will die." And he's like, "This is a joke," and he's like, walks away from it, and he's like, "You know what though? Something's gnawing at the back of my brain." So he goes back and he picks it up and he takes it home. And, he's, sitting there constantly doing his homework thinking, And then finally he decides he's going to give it a test. And he tests it out by, there's a news report about a guy who's taken hostage this building that's got like a bunch of women and children in it. And They know who the hostage. They know who the hostage taker is. They got his name and his picture up on the news channel and everything. So he goes, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." So he writes down the guy's name in the book. Doesn't write any type of death. Doesn't write anything else. Just writes his name and pictures obviously his face.
Sure.
And he writes his name and nothing happens. And he's like, "Oh, okay. So this is a joke. You know, it's whatever." And then after a few seconds, the hostages start running out of the building. And everyone's like, SWAT team is claiming they did not shoot the person. And they go, "We're getting reports that the hostage taker has fallen over dead."
Huh.
Yeah, and he realizes there that he's like, "Oh my god, this thing could be real."
Huh.
And so he tests it again later with some gangbanger guy who's messing with this woman. He's on his motorcycles, and he writes down the guy's name, because she said his name out loud. Writes down his name, and he dies in a car accident, is what he writes. And 40 seconds later, he dies in a car accident.
Wow, it happens that fast.
40 seconds.
Wow.
So, yeah, and that kind of is like, oh god, this is real. So he goes, holy crap. Then it cuts to my favorite character in the book, Ryuk.
And that's the big guy on the right?
Yeah, well, the Ryuk is
yeah, we'll put a picture up or something maybe like right here.
Oh Jesus, Ryuk.
Yeah, how about that?
I'm not supposed to see you. So Ryuk appears. And he's in this like afterlife type hell type scape. And you find out Ryuk is what is called a Shinigami.
Okay.
Which is kind of like a death god.
Okay.
Ryuk writes names in death notes. And Shinigami are like Grim Reapers.
Oh.
Right. So Ryuk, you find out, dropped his death note on Earth.
Oh, so it actually belongs to him.
It belongs to Ryuk.
Okay.
And all the other Shinigami that are up there making fun of him because, oh, you lost your death note again? Ha ha ha.
I see.
Right. And he dropped it on Earth. And Ryuk...
So it's like John C. Reilly in Magnolia when he loses his gun and he's a cop and he loses a gun. Wow, that was a really random left field. I don't know where that came from, but sorry, guys.
Actually, not at all like that.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't imagine. I don't know where. Sorry, that analogy came out of left field.
All 5 people that remember Magnolia probably kind of are like, "Oh yeah."
I like the movie, but yeah.
But no, you find out. So then Ryuk, after 5 days of not having his death note, visits Light. And Light's like, "Oh, geez, there's a big old monster in my room." And Ryuk,
which is pretty much what anyone would say,
right,
I think.
Right. And Ryuk's like, "Nah, bro, chill. I'm just here because you got my notebook." And he's like, "What?" Like, he's like, "What?" And he well, at first he's like that, and he goes, "Oh, wait, that makes sense. You must be a death god. Okay." And Ryuk's like, "Wow, you're being really chill about this." And it turns out, too, that only Light can see Ryuk. Because Light touched the Death Note.
Oh.
Whoever touches the Death Note can see the monster, or can see the Shinigami that owns it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. So you have throughout the entire book a nice little back and forth, almost like here we go for another random old reference for you. Al and Sam, Quantum Leap.
Okay. All right.
So
makes much more connects more than Magnolia, but yes, okay.
And then you also find out that he didn't lose his gun, a la John C. Reilly in Magnolia. Ryuk dropped it on Earth because he was bored. And he wanted to see what a human would do with the book.
Oh, interesting.
And boy, did Light not disappoint.
Okay. Light
had like at least 2, if not more, pages full of names by the time Ryuk got to him.
Now, does Light continue, at least in this first volume, does he continue to use the book essentially for good? Because this could be a powerful tool in the wrong hand. I mean, it's a powerful tool either way, but...
So, Light's whole agenda is to eliminate crime. He is using the book to kill criminals.
Okay, so killing is obviously not something that you want to condone, but he's not. It's with the best of intentions, of course. Some of the worst things in life are done that way, but
he's killing them all so that way we can have a peaceful world full of justice where he can reign over us as a god.
Oh!
Right.
Scratch that.
So, yes,
Okay.
that's the whole thing there. And of course he has to come up with ways to keep the book hidden, and he gets all these intricate tricks. But there's a reason why he has to make sure the book is super hidden. That's because the police and the FBI and all the other government organizations begin to notice that these criminals are dying. They're like, how are these people dying? We had 4 criminals die yesterday of a heart attack. That's not normal. And people start to catch on to this fact. And the internet names Light. Light never comes out and says he's doing it, mind you. He stays completely in the shadows, ironically enough. But they start to name Light Kira. Kira, or Kira.
Okay.
Which, if I remember right, is... actually...
We will be doing this quite frequently, guys, because I can guarantee you that I do not retain names as well as Prime does. You can bet I will be going back and flipping through books. So
I think there's a quick little English translation of what Kira is. It's something like Killer of Killers or something. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Okay. Well, okay.
But yeah, we'll look it up and we'll put it on the screen along with a little asterisk and a little thing where that's saying Dragonus Prime's an idiot.
That'll just be up all the time.
Oh. Well, now I'm sad. But the internet starts calling him Kira. And some people are almost like at the very end of Boondock Saints, how people are like, those Boondock Saints are evil for killing those criminals. And some are like, hell yeah, kill those criminals. This is the same thing.
Okay.
People are like, heck yeah, Kira's taking out the bad guys. And some are like, no, this ain't right. Well, it's like I said, it's also got the police involved because they notice all these deaths. So they're starting to investigate. And the police hire this kind of private detective guy named L. It's just one letter L. And L is really cool. L never shows his face. You never hear his voice. You never know his name. He has he's got a guy, what was it, Kabi, I think his name is, or something like that. No, that one I don't remember.
Kabi or Wakabi?
Maybe it's Wakabi.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't sure what you said.
He's got a guy that he sends to and from the police. Oh,
Okay.
Watari.
Okay.
Watari, or something like that. Watari.
Okay.
And he's kind of like L's go-between with the Interpol, FBI, Japanese police, NPA, I think there's even, and L. And you never even see his face. He's always covered up and everything, too. You don't even know if Watari is his real name. But the two of... He uses Watari to interact with him, and the police and the legal police force. I'm just gonna refer to him as police from now on because there's all sorts of different branches in this. They're working with L to figure out what's going on. L decides to have this grandiose idea to try to draw out Kira. So he puts on this film, or he actually goes on camera and people see his face, and he goes on and you find out his name is Lind L. Taylor. And he goes on camera and he's like, I've never shown my face before, but I'm so serious about this, I'm showing it now. Kira, I'm coming for you. We're gonna get you. We're gonna bring you to justice. And Light's watching all this, and Light goes a little crazy here, and he's like, "You're coming for me? You talking to me?" And so he writes in the book Lind L. Taylor, and Lind L. Taylor dies on TV.
Oh, so that isn't even the cliffhanger. That isn't even the hook.
Oh, it gets more interesting after that. The screen flashes, and this old English style L appears on screen, which is the logo L uses whenever he talks to people. And you hear this very digitized voice, masked voice come on. And it basically says, hey, I fooled you. That's not really me. I just wanted to see what your capabilities were. That guy that you killed was actually sentenced for execution today. We kind of left his name out of everything so that way you wouldn't know about him.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay.
And he goes, oh yeah, and one more thing. I know we told everyone that this was transmitted globally. It's not. It's transmitted in the Kanto region. He goes, and the reason I did that was because the first victim, which nobody really thinks is the first victim, was the hostage stuff, which was killed at the Kanto region. So I took a shot. Turns out I was right.
Oh.
So L's already on it.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and throughout the thing, it's Light trying to kind of be one step ahead of L. At one point, Light figures out... Well, it's interesting, too, how Light figures out. But Light figures out that the police have gotten information from L, from what L's thinking, that Kira's a student. Because deaths are only happening at certain times.
I see.
So Light says, oh, is that right? Well, I'm going to run a test. And he writes a name. A criminal. He writes a time. Like during the day. While he's at school. And the criminal dies at that time.
Oh, so now he can control when.
Yeah. And the reason he finds out about all this, how he's able to know that they think he's a student, how he's always keeping one step ahead of Kira, his father is running the task force to catch him, basically. Light's father is like a chief of police.
Wow. Okay.
So...
Wow, that's a lot in one volume.
Yeah, it's like 7 chapters in this one volume. There's a whole bunch of interesting stuff. There's one point where he's being tailed by an FBI agent, and to get the FBI agent to reveal his name to him so he can have power over him, he has this other criminal stage, like he writes in this criminal stage, like he's able to literally control everything. Like he has a criminal hijack a bus. He writes in the book he's going to have the criminal hijack a bus. He's going to have the criminal shoot at a specter and then get hit by a car.
Oh my god, so he can... Wow, so he really can control things.
He can be a god.
Wow, okay, alright.
But yeah, it was a fantastic book,
Well,
and one I will continue to read.
That was gonna be my next question. So, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That it is that thick in one volume.
And then I went by and I thought, you know what? I read the manga. I'm going to check out the anime. I wanted to see what changes and similarities there were. I watched 2-3 episodes of the anime. I'm not going to watch any more.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not bad, especially if you've never read the manga. The anime is really good. It tells the story. The voice actor for Light, whereas I love the voice actor, I can't remember his name, and if you know his name, please post it in the comments below with my deepest and sincerest apologies, because he's also the voice actor of Katra from Gundam Wing. You remember the blonde one?
Oh, yeah.
He's the voice actor of Light.
Oh,
which,
okay.
For a character like Light, I don't exactly picture that voice for him. I'm picturing something a little more... Well, I'm picturing something a little more... Johnny Young Bosch. Something a little more matured voice as opposed to a higher pitched voice. And when I read the manga, that was the voice I pictured for Light, and the voice I pictured for Ryuk was Willem Dafoe.
Oh, nice. So the anime, it's not that the anime is necessarily a bad adaptation. It's just that the voice talent, the American voice talent, didn't.
It's also a little out of order.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
One thing I've noticed with the anime and manga is usually the anime will expand upon a chapter. Like, it'll take about 2 episodes of an anime for 1 chapter of a manga.
Oh, okay.
This was different. It was like 3 chapters of the manga were in 1 episode of the anime.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. It was really quick.
Wow. Okay,
And
okay.
L appears in the first chapter of the manga. He doesn't even appear till the 2nd episode.
Interesting.
So...
Interesting that would be the case with something that's so... developed. And I'm now curious, now that you've said that, I'm now curious to see, I think isn't there an anime for Chainsaw Man?
Oh, I hope so.
I think there is, or there's one coming or something, and if you guys know better, please, share a trailer with us or something.
Noob.
Because it would be interesting, because I can tell you that Chainsaw Man is nowhere near as dense as that.
Yeah, this was, I mean, it was even a fairly, most mangas you can read pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even flipping through here, so you can see this is very wordy for a manga.
It is. And there are some moments in this that are wordy, but it's not as, at least in volume 1, yeah. So that's as good a segue as any.
Sure.
So Chainsaw Man, and again, forgive me, I oftentimes have have difficulty remembering names.
Real quick, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
Deathnote, by the way, was the story was by Sugumi Oba. Sugumi Oba. Apologies for Sugumi-san if I butchered your name. And the art was by Takashi Obata.
So Chainsaw Man, story and art by again, forgive me if I mispronounce this in any way, Tatsuki Fujimoto.
That sounds like it could be right.
Maybe. So the first thing my first manga experience, okay?
Yeah. What a way to start it off.
Yeah, right. I really thought reading the opposite way would really throw me quite a bit.
And
it did not actually. I actually acclimated to it quite quickly. It was a little weird at first.
Sure.
But
after a while, you're just used to it.
After a while, I got very used to it. Yeah, so it didn't throw me off, and that means that we'll do more episodes of the show because I'll read more. So, what I noticed as my first experience, and I don't know if this is the case with all manga or just with this,
was that he had a chainsaw for a face.
Right. Was that it just expects you to immediately buy into the world.
Yes.
Without any backstory or explanation.
Some mangas, yes.
Okay, I did. Yeah, that's the way this one is. So, and I'm used to American comics where you get like
6 issues before the hero shows
up. Right, you get like backstory and all this stuff, or setup of the world is like this now, and then go, and that you don't get that from this. What you get from this is right off the bat, the main character is a young boy who lives on the streets. His name is Denji.
Denji, interesting.
Yeah, Denji, and Denji has a pet devil. In this world, devils are common, very common, and devils will take any kind of form. Like you can have a car devil. At one point, they even talk about what would it be like if we had a car devil, and a car devil would basically run you over. Like it has the powers or the abilities or the feelings or whatever of
whatever it takes over,
whatever it represents almost. So there's lots of different kind of crazy devils, and there are devil hunters.
Of course, that makes sense in that society.
Right, there are devil hunters. Well, Denji's father owes a huge debt to some mob.
Oh, okay.
And died, and I forget now. I think a devil killed his father, and I forget what. But anyway, so now Denji has to pay off this debt.
Ouch.
To the crime lord, and the only way that he seems to do that is by becoming a devil hunter, and he kind of works off his debt that way. But there's so many, just like in regular society, there's so many fees. So he may get a 300,000 yen contract to take out a devil, but the person that alerted him to it gets a finder's fee. There's this kind of fee.
So he makes like maybe 20,000 after all of it.
13,000.
Wow.
After all of it, and then he has to pay some of that back, and so he gets like maybe 500 or 700 yen till the next hit comes along. Yeah. So he lives on the streets. He's poor as all can be. He doesn't hardly eat. In fact, he even talks about how. Maybe I can get a piece of bread tonight and I can actually eat some food tonight. Like he's really like
Aladdin.
Like he's Aladdin. Like this is Les Mis. This is Dickens. All of that. What's crazy about it is, and I'm gonna mispronounce the name, so let me look it up. He has a pet devil.
Oh.
His pet devil looks like a dog with a very small chainsaw for a snout.
That's adorable.
That comes out of the dog's face. And the dog's tail is the pull on the chainsaw. And the devil dog, the chainsaw devil, that is his pet, is named Pochita.
That's cute.
Yeah. Now, one thing that will occur in this world is that devils can regenerate.
Interesting.
They can regenerate bodily damage primarily through human blood.
Kind of vampiric?
Almost vampiric. Sort of.
Interesting.
And so that's how he actually meets Pochita. You get a flashback of how he meets Pochita. He's about to be killed. He thinks he's pretty much dead. And then Pochita comes around. Pochita's going to attack him. But Pochita's also hurt. It looks like he's been shot.
Sure.
So he lets Pochita bite him to get some blood to heal him. But in a sense, then kind of Han Solo Chewbacca style forms like this life kind of bind between the two. Well, what happens is that the mafia guy that he owes money to decides that he's kind of done with him, and he sets him up.
Sure.
And sets him up with this, I forget now what kind of a devil it was, but it's basically a devil that when he takes over people, he turns them into zombies almost.
Ooh.
And Denji and Pochita get sent to this warehouse where they're just slaughtered.
Wow.
They're just slaughtered, and they're ripped to pieces and then thrown in a dumpster.
Damn, your usual hope for like that, they make it out somehow in the way.
Yeah, no, this was like, and this is still in like chapter 1, I think.
Holy cow!
Like he just gets slaughtered and taken out. So they get dumped into a dumpster, and because Pochita is a devil, the blood from Denji regenerates Pochita, but in such a way that the two kind of become one.
Oh.
And Pochita kind of goes inside. He becomes kind of Denji's heart, if you will.
Weird.
Yeah, it's like they're almost symbiosis with each other.
That reminds me of another anime.
Oh?
Yeah, one called Parasite.
Oh, that's on my list of things to read in a future episode, so that'll be interesting to check out. I'm curious about that. So, so it becomes like his heart, and he now has the pull, like the tail out of his chest. So what happens now is when he pulls that's when he turns into the Chainsaw Man.
Huh.
And he gets these chainsaws on his arms.
Sure.
And then a chainsaw that comes out of the middle of his face, because why not, you know?
Well, Pochita had it on his head.
Pochita did, yeah, right. So, and he just goes nuts.
Sure.
He just goes nuts, and he just slaughters everything.
That's going to be a bloody anime.
It is a bloody anime. It is very bloody. But he's still homeless. Mm-hmm. That is when a devil hunter comes along, and she basically recruits him to be in her devil hunting
guild
group. Yeah, I forget what they're called, but they're basically like a devil hunting police force of sorts. And
interesting.
And so he's kind of forced. She basically says, "You're kind of like a devil now. You're not really a devil. You're kind of like what they would call a fiend, which is a kind of a half devil, half human kind of a thing." And we have to put those down just like we would anything else. But I feel like something is different with you, so I'm going to recruit you into the club. Whew. Right. Well, that's all fine and good. I was with it all through that.
Okay.
I'm still not turned off by the book.
Okay.
But it got really kind of bizarre after that for me. Because the next thing I know, out of nowhere, all this time Denji has been talking about all of the things that he dreams about, a home, someone to love or to be loved with.
Sure. What everybody wants.
Right. Basic comforts and needs. And now all of a sudden he sees this girl, and now all of a sudden it's all about wanting to touch boobs.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's like an interesting turn.
It did, yeah. And I'm not a prude. I'm not opposed to that kind of stuff in stories. It just kind of felt like
it was forced.
It just kind of came out of nowhere for me.
Question: do they use it for humor?
Not really. I mean, maybe a little at times, but no,
because
not
that's
really.
kind of a big thing in about that to use that.
Sure, yeah. No, this is more like he gets partnered up with another fiend, and she's nuts. I mean, she's wacko, and she keeps talking about her cat was taken by another devil, a bat devil, and if Denji will go and take out the bat devil and get I think her cat's name was Meowie or Meowers or something like that. Anyway, get the cat back, then she'll let him touch her boobs.
To be fair, I'm not saying I wouldn't take that deal.
I know. It was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm with it, but okay.
And
weird.
I mean, think about this too. The guy's homeless. The guy just wants girls, and now girls are paying attention to him.
True.
And
there is that. Yeah.
He said he's a kid. Hormones. I mean.
Yeah. He is younger. So, yeah. So basically, you know, it gets very bloody. It gets very violent. I think, the biggest issue I had really with it, overall, was just that I didn't get to, like, it did exactly what a comic should do, which on one hand bothers me, and on the other hand I love it. It did exactly what a comic should do. It got me right up to this moment, and then gave me a cliffhanger that made me go, damn it! I was on the fence about whether I'd read Volume 2 or not.
And?
Well, yeah, the cliffhanger in there, I gotta find out what happens.
That's how they get you!
That's how they get you. He was just about to go up and face the devil bat, who's ginormous.
Oh, so we don't even get to see him touch boobs.
No!
Oh, we gotta get book 2.
I just want to see him fight the devil bat, because the devil bat is cool. So no, it's
No. Wingman, get book 2, help him out.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I definitely really like the art.
Or would the bat devil be the wingman?
Boom, boom.
So the art was good, though.
The art was really good.
That's good.
I really enjoyed it. It was very clear. I've seen some manga art that is
not as clear.
Yeah. No, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, like same with Deathnote. Deathnote had really clear art. There were a few panels that weren't super clear, but for the most part, it was very clear as well.
Good. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That sounds very interesting.
And I'm really curious about Chainsaw Man. Just the concept of the guy with the chainsaw on his face.
Maybe what we'll do, check this out, listeners. Maybe what we'll do is we'll swap.
Yankee swap?
We'll swap, and then we'll do a follow-up review with each other. We'll do a follow-up review on our Patreon page.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So if you head on over to the Patreon page for my Big Fat Pull List, I would say maybe in about a couple weeks, we'll get a follow-up review on there of your thoughts of Chainsaw Man and my thoughts on Deathnote.
Yeah, he's got great ideas. He's the brains. I'm the beauty.
Well, that's debatable. But
I'll kill a bat for you.
Who wouldn't? Anyway, so that's our first week, guys. Thanks. We're just pretty much about out of time with this one. But be sure to check us out next week. What are you reading next week?
I am going to read an anime that I loved back in the 90s, and I'm going to finally read the manga. Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh, very cool. Okay, yeah, I'm interested to hear about that.
And yourself?
I am reading, because everybody's talking about it so much, I want to know what it is. I'm going to read Demon Slayer.
Oh, cool. I've been seeing that a lot when I go to Hot Topic.
Everybody goes...
I shop at Hot Topic.
It's a cool place.
Yeah.
Everybody goes nuts. So I'm going to read that. So check us out next week. We'll review both of those. Again, you know the drill. Like, subscribe. Check out my Big Fat Pull List. We put out an episode of the podcast every week.
Spotify, Apple, and Google.
Yep.
As I found out from our last episode.
That's right. Yeah, I think on Google. I still need to
double now check. We don't even know.
That's right. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Arigato.
Well, folks, that's our show. We hope you liked it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the My Big Fat Pull List YouTube channel so you don't miss another episode of one of our shows.
And don't forget, we have a podcast. Make sure you head on over and search out My Big Fat Pull List podcast on any one of your podcast listening platforms.
And help us keep the lights on by heading on over to www.patreon.com/My Big Fat Pull List. And you'll know that you can get any one of these amazing shirts right there.
Also, hit us up on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.